Rotations and reflections in the coordinate plane. Lesson 105. I have to teach you how to multiply matrices first. Okay. There's rules in which matrices can be multiplied together. So, for instance, you know in algebra we have the commutative property where you can change the order. With matrices, you can't always do that. So, for instance, if you remember a matrix, you do row by column. Okay? So, I'm just going to draw two matrices, and we'll just put letters in there instead of numbers. A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay. Times G, B, A, X. Okay. So this is a 2 by 3 matrix, and this is a 2 by 2. These two matrices cannot be multiplied because if you look at these two numbers, they have to be equal. So the number of columns in the first one has to equal the number of rows. And that's when we learn how to multiply them, you'll see why. If they don't equal, you can't multiply them. So these cannot be multiplied. These two numbers have to be the same. So if we switched them, would we be able to multiply? So if I put this one first, and then that one, would I be able to multiply? Yes. And then the answer, what you get when you multiply, is a matrix with the dimensions that are on the outside. So if I switched, well, no, we couldn't multiply these two. But if I want to multiply, I'm going to give you two. If we multiplied a 3 by 2 and a 2 by 4, we can do that because these are the same. And the answer would be a 3 by 4. Okay. So if these two are the same, you can multiply them, and your final matrix will be 3 rows, 4 columns. Well, you'll see it like once we start actually multiplying it, then you'll start seeing it more. So I want to show you using a 2 by 2 how to multiply. And we're going to use letters, but I will teach it to you using numbers also. Okay, so we have A, B, C, D. We'll just do a 2 by 2 times a 2 by 2. Okay, so the way you multiply is you go across the row and down the column. So you do A times E, B times G, and then add them together. So you go across. So your new matrix will be, you do A times E and add B times G. And that becomes your first row, first column element in your matrix. Yes.
So then when you multiply B and F and then add E, E and H?
No, because you go across and down. So you always go across and down. So your first, so look at what I'm doing. First row times the first column gives me my first row, first column element. So if I did first row, second column, that gives me my first row, second column element. So I would do A times F plus B times H. And then if I wanted this one, I'm going to do second row, first column. So I do C times E plus D times G. Oh shoot. Well, I'll just finish this one up here. And
We have
then,
like 5 minutes. Isn't on the schedule?
oh yeah, because I forgot to change my Friday thing. Okay. So you do second row
So CF plus B.
DH. Yep.
Guys, well,
And
look at it. It's not that strange because it's
It makes
AE
sense.
and CE and BG and D.
Well, couldn't you? Why isn't it just A times E and B times F and C times G?
because that would be too easy.
Guys, if you think
No,
that
it
is
has
easy,
to
then
do
you're doing it
with
wrong.
what matrices represent and how we, because they're not just numbers, they're like an array, you know, rectangular array of numbers, so in order to multiply them, yeah, anyway,
Well,
the
wouldn't
order.
they- what if they're like in their original form of like the points on a coordinate plane? Then wouldn't it? You just add them together normally.
If you're adding, but not multiplying.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna stop it here because I wanna show you another way to help you remember how. Actually, I should probably do it on the video, shouldn't I? Okay, I'll do it on the video. So, when you take your first row and first column, you can imagine just taking this and flipping it sideways like that and then doing like what you said. So if you can imagine that you're going to take your first row, A, B, and write it like that, and then E, G, and then you'll add those together, and that will give you your first thing right there. And then you take this first row, second column, and just line them up A, B this way, and F, H, and add them. And that becomes that second. And then this one down here, you would do, you just turn it like that, like you're taking it over to the other side. And together that just means multiply. And then turn it.
It was AE plus FH. No, B.
So you're just taking that, does this, so each row is written like this, and each column is written like that.
Oh, now this makes a lot more sense.
So can you see the matrix itself in here? So here's
Yeah.
A, C,
So
B,
C,
D,
CG.
and then here's this second matrix has to go like that. So that's just another way of looking at it. And
So it's easy.
why don't you cogitate on that for the weekend? Don't you love that word? I love that word. It means think about and ponder. Yeah, that's not a real thing. That's the end of